Hey everybody, it's Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Out here after work, gonna get away early, but it's just 80 degrees in February. And we're doing a little housekeeping. This one, as fate would have it, again, the housekeeping. We've got one item from way back, which kills me that I haven't opened it. And we're gonna get that taken care of, but we're gonna kind of work our way backwards as we go to it. So, first thing first, if you're new here, timestamps and links are down below for your convenience. Also, if you're new to KC Tool, you place any order at all, anything. You could buy $4,000 worth of tools, you could get $4 worth of tools. You get a bit of thanks. Currently shipping is a number 2 Phillips from VIT. If you exceed the $75 mark, you get free freight. If you exceed the $100 threshold, you get a mystery sticker. But when we purchased this stuff, there were no mystery stickers. It was still the German Tool sticker pack. So, with that said, where we left off with Hazet a couple of videos ago, I showcased these gems. Telescopic ratchet and a nice little stubby T-handle, along with these awesome little smart holders. As you can see, that one's gotten some use since a couple nights ago. And that is a very, very nice segue, because in that video, I hope you remember, I said I had one more item, kind of a small thing, but something that I was excited to showcase, I thought people would like, but would also do well elsewhere. And that's what we're going to showcase first. It's a little spendy, but kind of not terrible if you break it down. It's going to set you back $26.05. It is their part number 197-11/3. Some of you are thinking like, 197, it seems like a lot of their import, like shop supply stuff, had a 197 or 196, didn't it? You're close. It's in a small box. It's in the classic Hazet colors, and there it is. Beautiful, right? And you're thinking like, what is this? Like, oh, is it a can open, a bottle opener? What's the deal? I just see a Hazet logo in there, and sounds like there's stuff, but there's nothing. Well, what's going on? Well, what if I do that? And you're like, okay, there's their logo and the part number, and then there's more logos. This side probably makes a lot more sense, because there's 3 things that don't have a logo but have something silver concentrically located. And, if you can see it now, it's a magnet, right? And you're thinking like, so wait, this is just a logo magnet? Yeah, it totally is. This is something I wish I could have showcased sooner, but we didn't really get to do the Hazet stuff outside of emergency, like really needed it for work things, until recently. And then we had this one, and I thought, you know, it's not too much longer of a wait. And there it is. So, it is cool that you get 3, and you're thinking like, oh, that's a lot of money for magnets. It is, but when you think of this as like $10 instead of $26, or $9 instead of $26, you think, oh yeah, I mean, it's cool, and I'd put it on my toolbox. I do like Hazet. Would I much rather have paid $10 for 3? Yeah. Would I be able to justify $5? Yes, but it's not terrible. Plus, I think when I got these, there was a sale, and ooh, it's a strong, wow. That is a very strong magnet. It's picking up the little T-handle now. Hang on a second. Can we pick up the telescopic T-handle? Okay, so I figured this. I've gotten some magnets recently, and they're like a little cheap. This is nicely done, Hazet. Let's see what we have here. Looks like the part number for the set, 19711, made in Germany. Okay, well, that explains it. So I was thinking we'd have a little dirt cheap socket, magnet that would kind of suck, right? Well, whoa. This is a 3/8 drive semi-deep 9/16 coke, and finally, I think it's in part because it hit my finger, but it's a good magnet. That is very pleasant of a surprise, and makes me feel better about the price. What do I have back here? Giant little collar. Boom. You get the idea. I think she's gonna stick to your toolbox just fine. It can, you know, I think if it didn't have the plastic interfering, let me just, what do we want to sacrifice? Torx. That's nothing. Picked up this whole smart holder. Okay, so I didn't have a great feeling about them. I thought, well, it's going to stick to my toolbox, I'm sure, maybe decently. This is refrigerator quality stuff. Maybe, you know, your wife, girlfriend, you know, hangs pictures on the refrigerator and they're constantly slipping down type of a thing, right? This might just make the cut. She gets to hang the pictures or the to-do list, the honey-do list, the grocery list, whatever, everything you've done wrong in your life, but it will stay securely mounted to the refrigerator with this Hazet magnet that is made in Germany. So very, very happy with these. I was thinking, obviously I hadn't opened them, I was thinking it would be like some cheap import thing, and it totally delivered. So made in Germany, the magnets are in fact fantastic. Again, obviously they're all three identical. Super cool. So that is a win. I don't know why we need this extra thick sheet about it. I guess we'll take a look at it. I guess it's just a standard size piece of paper. I guess some people need directions for hanging a magnet. Lots of hazards apparently. I'm sure it causes cancer and birth defects in California, and we don't care. This can become tinder. It can start fires later. We need to get to it. So, super cool. I actually, with the strength of that magnet, I think a little under $9 is not that bad. If it was a jinky, you know, like subpar magnet, I'd feel better in the 3 to 5 range, but those are pretty solid. Very, very happy there. So coming up next, let's just do this because it might be able to pick it up. We've got Hazet's part number 900-24. Some of you familiar with Hazet's part number lineup might know, like, hey, I think I know what that is. And then the -24, if you're thinking, is that a size? And I know a lot of you are like, oh, he bought a 24 millimeter, one of them long wrenches, huh? Nope, it's a socket. And, you're thinking like, why? Why, Mr. 60s and 70s, do you need a 24 millimeter? What SAE size did you find that this will work? Are you going to use it to drive seals, you you terrible soul? You going to hammer this thing to send a selector shaft into the side casing of a torque flight? No. I have a specific job for this. Again, 6-point, 24 millimeter, very nicely done. Hazets have a lot going for them, just like on their ratchets. You sort of have the satin, and then you have this kind of bit of chrome here. Satin chrome, and then like sort of the soft luster, not like mirror polished. It's either love it or hate it. I'm kind of more of like a consistent satin or consistent polished. But this is the biggest Hazet socket I own, and I do have to say, like I thought, as you get bigger, this becomes more appreciable of a feature, having that little dual rib there. So, pretty cool. But you think like, okay, well, what nefarious purpose will that serve? Nothing nefarious. It was a situation. What did I wind up using? I don't recall, but when I changed my nephew's oil, the filter cap is actually 24 mil. So, boom, 24 mil. It is what it is. At the time, there were less expensive options for me, but they weren't in stock. And this got me, let's see, this was the item you're going to see next, this, and then I grabbed a KC Tool hoodie, which was on sale. We got really good deals. But somehow I think that this got me free freight, and it was a situation where we had the fortunate findings that this was in stock. That was the big deal. Gedore is probably where I would have gone. They're like the most economical socket. I don't believe 24 was in stock. This was. Boom, pull the trigger. So this next item, it would be really smart if it would have paired with it, but when I tell you what I have in mind, hopefully it makes sense and you'll sort of understand my logic. If you've been here a while, it'll probably make more sense to you than others. This is from Hazet, same order, their part number 8814. I don't remember if this was tool of the day or not. I think it might have been, and that would have made it significantly less than the list price of $90.28. You're thinking like 88.14. Well, 16, that's the 3/8 drive ratchet, so it's 14 close to that. Yeah. And when I swing that in, you're like, oh, wait, that's their old. So this is not HP, you're saying. This is their old. Wait, I've seen that on your channel. I remember. In fact, you do remember. You have seen this on my channel. Here again, bag, no bag. So what is this? You were correct. It is a 3/8 drive flex head. Very, I won't say floppy, but very loose. Again, obviously you can adjust that to your liking with a little Torx fastener there. But we do have an old school. Why would we do that when we got HP 90? Two reasons. One, currently HP, the entire lineup, quarter, 3/8, half, there are no flex heads, there are no locking flex heads. I've told you, the day that happens, will we need that? No. Will we get that? Yes. Why? I love the HP 90 line. This wasn't just that. This was me doing two things. Number one, I wanted to get a flex head. Hazet, try it out. Number two, I like to go back and see what things were before. Now, in a lot of cases, I don't have to do that. You know, like some of the American-made stuff, like, okay, I know what this ratchet was like. This is the new one. I like the new one. We're going to stick with that when we have to replace things. With this German tool stuff I've gotten into, I don't have a Hazet ratchet, you know, from 1996. I don't have one that I bought, you know, when I graduated high school or was a sophomore, you know, in college and ripping an engine out of the duster. I don't have any German tools from then, so I don't know what was life like before the HP 90. I can't answer that, so this was my gateway. Used it a few times, nothing significant, but I came in with part number 8814 and got this. And you can see it hopefully through the bag. And if you're thinking like, hey dude, that's like the same thing, isn't it? Is this just like a slimmer head? Some of you are like, wait, is it a locking head? And the rest of you are like, I totally saw through the bag. I know exactly what this is. And let me throw it down and you'll see. This is a breaker bar, 3/8 breaker bar. And you're thinking like, you got that Capri that you always complain about the handle not being long enough, but say that it's an excellent tool. And then I think I remember you having a Stavilla, so why this? I'm taking this to work. And I know some of you now are going to say like, wait, I thought you had a Gedore 1/2-inch breaker bar at work. I totally do. That thing is wonderful, especially for breaking things free. Think of Gedores basically, instead of having a cylindrical traditional design, they've got like the flat beam, rectangular, and then the handle is the same way. It is so nice for pulling and pushing. Think loosening and tightening. It makes more sense. What I worried about is that it would suck spinning. I've actually been spinning it. I've actually gotten good at that. But something cylindrical will be inherently easier to spin. Now, this is kind of small for my liking, not just in terms of length upright up the handle, but also like small this way. You'll also note this is not cylindrical. It's kind of like oblong, sort of an oval. Now, coming in, this is very close. Basically, you know, if I do it with this hand, it's going to be the same thing, roughly. Halfway my thumb, I wish the handle maybe came to here. I wish it filled out my palm a little bit more. However, for what I'm going to be doing with this, it's going to be doing a lot of that. I'm basically going to come in, and when I can't fit my impacts because the idiot engineers design things where the hex bolts are like side by side and you literally cannot get a socket over them, that's an impact. I've got thin enough chrome sockets I can do it, and especially sometimes if they're clocked just right and stupid tight, I'll have to start them with a wrench. But anyway, I can usually get the chrome and then I break it free, it swivels down, and we run it out. This is when motors are like, and I say motors, this is electrical motors, not like 440s, engines if you will. So that's what this is going to do, basically what the Gedore was doing. I hope it can handle the load. This is beautifully smooth, just like that. It kind of makes me want to take this flex head to work, I'm not going to lie. But again, I think that was tool of the day. It could have been, Maybe it was clearance. I don't really remember because not back too far. This was like maybe it was Black Friday, actually. I think that's what it must have been. Don't hold me to it. You know, it's been a month or two. But that's what that is. And if you think like, well, hey, if you like the Gedore, why didn't you buy a Gedore? Here's the thing. I don't have a Gedore paper catalog. If you go online and you look at a Gedore half-inch breaker bar, they're going to have that classic handle I've described. You know, they're blue and black, you know, rectangular shape. When you look at the 3/8 breaker bars, they're like a black plastic. I don't know if that's an old stock photo and it hasn't been updated. I'm not privy to that. If that's the case, I wouldn't be happy. It wouldn't bother me. So this kind of covers me. It was a known commodity thanks to this. It's not ideal for what I would prefer, especially a breaker bar breaking or tightening. But for spinning, I think this is going to work really well. I'm excited. I'll get to use it. Yeah, I should get to use it tomorrow, but there's a chance, you know, the stuff hits the fan and it doesn't happen. But sometime this week, I should get to play around with the thing. So very excited there. That said, the kind of a crazy thing, which I hope they do this too. Like, I don't know. I'd have to wait for a tool of the day promo type of thing, but the HP90 handles, which again, oh, unfortunate spillage. This right here is what started it. This started my love affair with Hazet ratchets. This is the OG 916 HP. That's why it's filthy. That's why it's nasty. I love this thing. I absolutely love it. We have since picked up the HPS, which is the quick release, across the whole lineup. It's ridiculous. This is perfect. I love everything about it, particularly in the half-inch drive size. They don't, just like I told you with this, there is not an HP flex set. There's not an HP locking flex set. If you want a flex set from Hazet, it's this with that handle. I hope to see HP line eventually go there. Same thing, and this is kind of a little more disappointing because I'd understand you need to engineer that and get them possibly beef this up to live up to the HP namesake. But with the breaker bar, I would have loved to have seen them update to this HP 90 style handle, because this handle, at least for me, I love it. It's very, very good and notably beefier. Granted, this is half versus 3/8 there, but you get the idea, right? So you're thinking like, whoa, this was a cool video. Excellent magnets, a recap of the T-handles, got a big old socket, and you got that breaker bar. We're not done, my friends. No, no, no. Far from it, because what we have next is definitely tool of the day. And this is shortly after these came out. I wanted to try it, just like I wanted to try this from Stavilla. We'll throw that down for a reminder. The Hazet version is a little bit fancier than the Stavilla. And what I did, I was torn. I was looking at them. I was debating. I actually, you know, I have a thing for their titanium nitride finish, right? That's not what this is. I very nearly bought some of their hex. At the time, I was having to deal with a little 3mm issue. And then I debated the Torx, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just like cheap out and do quarter. And I was like, well, I'd really prefer 3/8. And then the clouds cleared, the waters parted, and tool of the day was Hazet's 850A-SR/7. Think back to Koken. Think with, if you know what 850 is, you probably already know. Similar to 900, right? 900 something, 850. What do we usually see with that, with the foreign tool companies, Germany or Japan? It usually means American, SAE, fractional, imperial. Think with Koken, what does a /7 usually mean? That's like 7 pieces per set. Stavilla is the same way. So is this something to do with a quarter drive, 7-piece set? It is. This thing would cost $132.70. Again, I don't remember what it was, tool of the day. But the SR is what's important. The SR stands for Smart Rail. We have smart holders here. This is why I went and dug those out of the box, to get them back out here. Refresher, and a nice tie-in. So I have used a couple of these. I haven't, they've been here a little while, but I was very interested in this. And if you think like, hey, that looks really good out of the bag. So what's the deal here? You got yourself some little 6-point, cool, metric. No, these are in fact imperial, fractional, the good stuff, the old school, what I prefer, what you should prefer, the simple things that make sense. Okay. And what we're doing, we've got 3/16, we got quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, half, 9/16. This is pretty much perfect for me. Why? Because it includes 9/16. What am I going to use the next most often? Half and 7/16. That's it. Quarter, 5/16, 3/8 hardware, boom, and then tiny stuff that I have to deal with. The way the smart holder works, you've got your part number here. Again, sort of like a nice little metallic. This is sort of a bougie soft surface as well. You've got the Hazet teal here underneath the sockets. You've got this that indicates this is a hex socket 6-point. You've got this that you can hang from. The sockets, do they come off? Are they magnetized? Here's what they do. Twist and unlock. You can see there's actually kind of just the black peg, I guess, showing through there on the side. You want to come in, you twist, you lock. Here's the thing though. Let me throw this down. Why? What did we just do? You're like, oh, that little rivet hole is no. This whole thing is in fact magnetic. Now, I don't know that this is going to hold, like say you put this on the lid of your cart. I don't know that that's going to pan out, especially if you go full vertical. It doesn't seem like the strongest thing in the world. You can tell kind of by the glossy finish, which is also soft. That's a big deal. If you slap this down on a fender, if you're that type of a person, which, I cringe, protect the paint. If it's in primer, or it's like a project or beater, okay. But definitely not a customer, definitely not something you're concerned with. But this right here, I'm sure it'll get debris and crud stuck to it, but it is at least a soft finish. I can feel the dust across it right now. But these are pretty sweet. Now, obviously, they make them in different drive sizes. Of course, there's metric. There's way more offerings in metric. And this is kind of just something I wanted to try. I wanted the sockets, and at Tool of the Day pricing, it killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Because I'll tell you this, the standalone, which yes, you can totally buy this setup here minus the sockets, they're kind of expensive. So when you factored in what this would have cost me to check it out and showcase it, plus what the sockets are worth, and the Tool of the Day pricing, this was a total no-brainer. So it worked out beautifully. In terms of showcasing the sockets, why would I do that when I could show you something you can see better? Again, satin chrome polish, the 2 bands, beautiful. Hazet sockets are beautifully finished. I love the chamfer on them. There's really, if the aesthetics are there, it's all win. The only thing is, what kills me on them is personal preference. Some of you are going to like this better. Really good stamping. You can see the part number, obviously single band here on the smaller drive size, made in Germany. Great size, good. I wish it was bigger, but I'm the type of guy that wants all of that font to be oriented with this end up. I want the drive end down, I want the business end up, and I want the font, the size, everything to match. Do I just say that and knock it because it's Hazet? No. Any brand, regardless of how well I like them or don't like them or want to diss them or hate them or like them or love them, that's something I personally prefer. Minor thing, there is also, should be noted, there's no size markings built in, which would have been great. I sort of get them not doing it in the event that I rip these off and want them on an Ernst rail or like a go bag type of a thing, and then I can totally come in and throw metric quarter sockets down or hex or anything. You do have this. You do have the part number, which granted that's not going to kill anything really. It's just going to be 7-piece quarter drive peg, but pretty nice. I'm very intrigued by that still now that it's out of the bag officially. You don't have to hide it from people. We're gonna go to town, have some fun, see what we think. That said, we've got one more item here. And it is the oldest item. Again, kills me. This thing came in not long after the telescopic Stavilla that we just showcased previously. This is from Hazet. It's their part number 916. And you're like, wait, I thought that was 9. So that is 916, but there's more. HP. And you're like, that's 916 HP. I know that. Yes, but there's more. A K. And you're thinking like, okay, well, what does that change? Is it a flex? Wait. Since this update, breaker bar or flex head incoming, right? Not quite, but this is a step in that direction. This is the OG. It was released first. They picked that. Again, ridiculous torque specs. It was what they launched the entire HP90 lineup with, and then the other drive sizes came a little later. This is sort of an expansion in a different direction. If you're thinking like, that doesn't make any sense, what are you talking about? Well, let me dig the Cuttix out. This is what I'm talking about. 916 HPK. You're looking like, okay, half inch, everything looks good. 400 Newton meter, it seems less. Why would it be less if it's half inch drive? Don't understand, do you? Price point 144.21. I think this was on a this again is the oldest thing. I think it goes back to April or something. It is sealed. I have not let myself look at this, use it, play with it, fantasize about it, nothing. It was just a closed off-limit box. And it's gonna be pretty cool. Let's see if we can get all this stuff slid out before us. By the way, the battery light's been flashing a while. I think we're almost out of time too. What is in this cardboard coffin? A Ratchet springing to life, freed from its paper prison. We have the Hazet 916 HPK that literally does have gold font here. That's kind of interesting. Let me... Oh yeah. Max 400 Newton meters. You will probably never get there. I'm not lying. 916 HPK, made in Germany. It's in like some Amazon Scamazon special. Okay. You're thinking like, I don't get it. It's not flex set. It's not a breaker bar. It's really a ratchet. And you're like, is that more compact? What's the deal? Well, let's take old Trusty here. Let's just let me go. Whoa, hey, whoa, two things right off the bat. Number one, your perfect handle here is significantly smaller. This is shorter, but some of you, maybe even like the Snap-on crowd, you notice this is different. You're like, hey, this is like a 3/8 anvil and a 1/4 inch body, but it's a 1/2 inch anvil and a 3/8 body? What has happened exactly? Well, check it out. I happen to have the Hazet 8816 HP here. In this hand, I've got what we just introduced, which is fantastic that they have this. So this is what they did. I literally didn't know this until we opened it. I just thought it was sort of a more compact version, which it is, but they've literally taken the HP90 head from the 1/2 inch drive 916 and they've nested it into the 3/8 body. This is sweet. This makes me speculate immediately. If we take this, which I conveniently had, granted this is the quick release, the HPS, which I had to showcase those going on and totally forgot to. I wonder if we're going to see this ratchet body with a 3/8 head. That is some... Ooh. Hey, that's some cool stuff. Again, this is coming from a guy that we totally don't have to get this stuff. This is not dire straits, but this is the half, literally. We're going to build video series. I don't like spoiling things. I will tell you straight up, and I've mentioned it several times before, the HP90, the 916 half, that is my favorite 1/2 inch drive ratchet. Period. Okay. I'm weird. Do I like the whole lineup? Yes. Does that mean that the 8816 is my favorite 3/8? Not necessarily. Could it be? Possibly. We'll reveal all at some point in time, but I will straight up tell you, this could get dethroned. Something could change. I love that thing. That's why all this is here. That's why I'm like, oh yeah. I could get to a point where I've got everything I could have ever dreamed for and then some. And if Hazet came out and introduced a flex head HP90, we're going to get it. If they follow that up 6 months later with a locking flex head that I didn't know they were going to have in 6 short months, we're going to get it. Like, it's just one of those things. You know, you've probably got like a certain brand or tool, or, you know, maybe it's your snap-on pliers, maybe it's, you know, Knipex, if they release like a 6 3/4 inch pliers, wrench, or coat, you're going to go get it. You have a 5.5, a 6, a 7. Oh, that 6 3/4 could come in handy, you'll say. And you can justify it because you love it. It's tried and true. You know what you're getting. And it's a situation, it could come in handy. Now, if you toss that in on tool of the day or like a big sale, all the better, right? That's how basically where I fall with the HP. They could come out with a number 2 Phillips and put this style handle on it, and I would probably, I'm like, it just works for me. Okay, I trust it and I love it. Somehow I literally did not know that this is what they had done. I was expecting just a scaled down 1/2 inch, and I didn't pull the trigger when I first saw it because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for a deal. The deal popped up, I pulled the trigger, and I wish I would have opened it a long time ago, because now I can fire off an email to Colin and say, hey, when are they gonna put a 3/8 head in the 1/4 inch body? We'll take it from there. It's very common with snap-on people, in part because they actually have stuff that doesn't interchange. That was fortuitous engineering on their part. There are merits to that. A lot of times you need this 1/4 drive space savings, but you need the strength of the 3/8. Maybe it's just a socket, it's like a 5/8, and you literally don't have a 5/8 1/4 drive. It could be something that simple. Not this one, but the one just like it at work, saved me big time last Friday. What happened, real quick, since lights and time cards are going. I was taking motors off, putting them on the racks. Everything went well. They were single phase, right? And we got 3 of the 4 done. The 4th one, little brackets, you know, bent, sort of like U-channel brackets. One side on the pallet, kicks in, goes up, kicks out, goes to the motor. Totally collapsed. Okay. So I initially was like, well, that's going to be a pain in the butt. And then I thought, well, I'll just bend it, you know, with pliers when I get it up in the air. You got to realize that's a relatively light motor, like 180, 220-ish, somewhere in that range. And when it's on a chain hoist overhead, and I'm like, you know, like coming in with pliers or my hand, like I can swing that really good. And that makes it dangerous, because if it comes off that hook, guess what happens? Gravity takes over and she's going down. I stand clear of it, you know, but then I've just made a very expensive mistake, and I don't want to do that. So all I could do, I could not get my coking in there, I couldn't get the shallows in there, I couldn't get anything. So on 2 of them, I was able to fit this with a, what size was that? 9/16, I believe. I had a little 9/16, and we ran it in, and I was able to get these out, and it worked really well. One of them was so collapsed and I could not bend it, I actually did have to break it with a wrench, and then I was able to kind of spin it out. But 2 or 3 of those was saved by this compact nature of this. The rest of the time, I'm using 3/8. That time, I had to, literally had to, use the 1/4 drive. This has opened up a sweet dream tonight, because I will be thinking not just of possible breaker bars and flex heads and locking flex heads, but now the 1/4 body with the 3/8 head. The coolest thing about this, you would think, you know, if you watch people on the internet, everyone's like, oh, you use 1/4. I don't. I use 3/8 and a half, way more than 1/4. The thing is, like, you would think by that logic of everyone else being way more in the minority, or majority, it seems, you would think Hazet would have done 3/8 and a 1/4 body first. The fact they put this beautiful thing together, 1/2 inch drive and a 3/8 body, before they did the opposite, I just love that. It's awesome. So sadly, that is it. That is it for the video. I'm on cloud 9 right now, literally. I was gonna edit a couple of videos, hopefully. It is kind of late. I may just change my plans and email Colin and go to bed. But yeah, don't have a workout tonight. But man, That is so cool. Now, the real quick, if I can, this is 200. This is 200 millimeters, 8 inches. This guy right here, your standard half inch, is going to clock in at about 10 and a quarter, if I remember right. So somewhere right over 250 millimeters. And again, if you need like, okay, I'm really interested in that, can you give me a good example? It's literally the 3/8 drive 8816. If you have HPS or standard, it's this ratchet with a half inch drive. Killer. Absolutely killer. Man, this was awesome. We got some stuff showcased we've been needing to. The magnets didn't suck. I was worried about those. The smart rail is finally out of the bag. That's a super nice socket. The breaker bar is going to go to work with me. And we now know what the 916 HPK is. Stupid cool. Bring on the 8816 HPK, and I am there day one. Well, maybe not. We'll wait for a sale, and then we're there. Whatever day the sale is, we're there. So, that's it, man. Yeah, having a really good time out here. This also does, I didn't want to hit on this in the Stavilla video because it would have spoiled this, but you kind of see what I'm doing here. If we do the smart rail with the shallows and we do the Stavilla with the 3/8, you see how it could work out for us, right? Especially if we're cheap and can't justify paying for the half inch deep. Because it's not just Stavillas where the half inch deep rig, it's all the German, even Gedore. You go deep and like the prices just go way up. So yeah, that's where Koken's nice, and that's where Proto and Wright served me very well. They're a known commodity and I can get them for really good prices. But yeah, I'm a happy guy right now, I'll tell you. 3 Hazet magnets. One of them might go to work, who knows, but I should end this before this thing just times itself out. Either the card, which has like a minute or two, and the battery. So, I had a great time. I hope you did too. LoneStarMopars.com is a website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. The Vera ball grip video went live today. I really need to get back on Twitter and Instagram to like post the videos, but I don't have time. So lots of stuff going on, and man, this just I'm geeked about this. I hope you are too. Hopefully you can tell I'm excited. Maybe that gets some of you going. Maybe you were totally unaware. This was sort of like under the radar launch of a tool. Now you know about it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're into the Hazet HP lineup. What do you prefer? One of them is your favorite. Do you hate it? Do you prefer brand X, Y, or Z? Whatever you want to talk about in the comments, especially if you have first-hand feedback, let me know. Similarly, how bad do you want the HP lineup to go to a flex, locking flex, breaker bar, even if it's just the handle? Maybe that's something Hazet could do. I don't think the breaker bar, I guess they might beef them up just for the heck of it. But anyway, I think this thing is going to time out. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, share your thoughts, experiences, whatever. Most importantly, I hope you... Now, she timed out on me. I deleted something. Hopefully, I didn't need it. So, basically, just trying to do the outro here before the battery literally dies now. But I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, share your thoughts, opinions, experience, especially firsthand with any of this stuff. Leave it down below. Again, this was an under-the-radar thing. I think it's really, really exciting. Again, possibilities now are just kind of off the charts. With that said, you know the drill. If you liked it, if you like multiple things I do here, I encourage you to subscribe. If you have not, it's free, doesn't cost you a dime. You can come along for the ride. If you jump your Charger across the creek and you're wielding your absolutely beautiful Hazet 916 HPK featuring the half-inch head and the 3/8 body, YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks again so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'm going to go have some sweet Hazet dreams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here for more from the shop. I was trying to find a place for all the cool new stuff, and as I was having to go through a massive reorganization effort, I realized if we've got time, we need to showcase this. And it dawned on me as I sat this in the inside lip of the box, Yeah, that is the smart rail, and it is solid. Case in point, if I need that 9/16, boom, throw it back on, spin her down, it's locked. We didn't do a drop test. We're not going to drop it, but overhead hanging, obviously, if you remember to twist to lock, they're not going to go anywhere. We can come down. Let's run over to the cart and check. All right, it's kind of a mess over here, but here we are on the side of the 34-inch master tug. As you can see, no issues. Pull this off. We're going to take it back. Put her on the lid. Shouldn't be any obstructions underneath. We can square it if we can. All right, I'm going to say that's pretty level. You got the General Lee there. Let's shut the lid and see what happens. The dramatic reveal incoming. Looks like it stays. So, that also turned out to be a better magnet than anticipated. Speaking of better magnets, boom, there it is, right here. Again, that is a fantastic magnet. Once again, just great time here tonight. Awesome stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Somehow the battery is still alive. I'm gonna get inside. I'll catch you for more from the shop.